Captain's log. Stardate 41153.73. These are the voyages of the weekly DLC. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode. I'm one of your hosts, Karosh, joined always by my co-host, Daniel Market.
Oh, niggity.
And Daniel Jang.
Bars.
And we're boldly going where no podcast has gone before.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with what we do,
We ride the Santa Ana wind.
yeah, we ride the Santa Ana winds into a galaxy near you. We do this podcast every week. We come to you on Mondays. We usually talk about nerdy stuff in nature. If that intro wasn't enough proof, yeah, we have some fun. We hope you guys have fun. Guys, have you been having fun this week?
No.
No. Okay. Why haven't you been having fun?
Short week.
Yeah, that's true.
I got picked for jury duty.
You don't like it?
Sucks. Well, I mean, like, I feel like it's time wasted for me. Like,
Why?
I don't know. I just so when we were getting picked, you know, like the judge is like, he's making a thing, and he's like, "This is your civic duty," blah 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 blah, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. I don't care." You know, like,
Yeah. So, are you on the jury? Can you speak about this or no?
I don't know how much I can speak about it. So
Okay.
I won't say anything.
Don't say too much.
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like my work doesn't cover it. So
okay, that's a bummer.
I'm not getting paid shit
What
while
the?
I'm there.
Couldn't you get out of it saying like you need to work?
It has to be like a dire situation.
Yeah.
The
They pay
judge
you
was
a
talking
point-
about.
I've gotten out of it by saying I need to work.
Yeah, like so the judge was pretty much saying like we'll look into like if you do miss like these couple of days, whatever we estimate is going to take the trial date will take, and it causes you not to be able to pay like bills that are required for you to like continue living, then we can look into it. But like I can miss 3 days and I'm fine. So. But
in my past, I've gone to several like waiting rooms to be like, are you going to be picked for a jury? And those days have always been very eventful for me gaming wise, because I'll always bring like my Game Boy or my DS, and I'll be like, today I'm going to do a playthrough. I remember the day I got an interview for a job while I was waiting in jury duty. And I brought my DS, my laptop, and like an iPad. I was like, I'm prepped. I'm ready to sit here all day. And I was like, I want to start and finish Super Mario World. And I started it, and it was on my Game Boy Advance SP.
Yeah.
I got super fucking far, and then I got home at night, and I finished the rest of it. I was like, that was a good day of jury duty. But then other days, I don't know. I know everyone's got a different feel for it, but I want to at least experience once, like, actively participating in one. I haven't. My closest experience was I got selected to be a part of one, and then the two sides were like picking who to kick out, and I got through that, and then the next day they're like, all right, we're starting the case, and we heard their opening statements, like, this is what we think. I was like, whoa, he just said the same thing, but like it sounds totally worse. I'm like, that's fucking good. You're good. And then the next day they're like, by the way, they decided to handle this outside, so it's case closed. I came in, I'd already got the day off, so I was like, all right, I got the day off to go do whatever I want.
yeah.
But I was also kind of like, I wanted to do stuff. So has that been it, or anything else?
Okay, so I've done it. I've gone to jury like selection process a total of 3 times. This being my 3rd time.
Okay.
2 times I didn't get picked, and then this time I ended up getting, and then, yeah. So I'm currently in the whole process, and it's really cool. Like, I mean, TV has been my like how I get like how the inside feel is or whatever.
Not
but
Phoenix,
it's like
right?
it is, dude. Like it's
Dun,
one of them
dun,
is always
dun,
like
dun.
objection, leading, objection, relevance, objection, and the owner's like, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. It's
You're like,
literally like it's just that all the time.
What's the score?
And so at this point, every time she says it, I laugh. Like I get a smirk on my face. Like it's hilarious.
Yeah, like
shit.
close this case right now.
Yeah, I mean,
This
she doesn't
guy.
say it out loud. She literally like says it to the point where like sometimes the judge is like, "Huh?" she's like, "Objection, huh?" I was like, "Objection, leading. I'll allow it, whatever."
Okay.
But And then the other lawyer, they're like legit, like very professional.
Yeah.
Like don't stutter. Like everything they're saying, like they already know what they're saying.
They're no Harvey Dent.
And
or
it's insane. And I'm like, I just want to go for them. Like they're the winning. Like
you're like spectating.
they're the winners. But so it's really interesting, and it's funny too because, like, I mean, I've kind of had a sense for it, but like it's very shady shit. They're asking questions, and sometimes it's very like you don't want, or like the person answering doesn't want to do a yes or no question because it's very vague, and you're like.
You realize how it
Potentially yes, but and they're like trying to answer like that's what I'm asking. It's a yes or no question, and then like moves on, and I'm like fucking people, dude. Like
Saul Goodman, dude.
so I'm like this shit's savage, dude.
Yeah. It's a game.
And I don't like it.
Trial by combat. You just gotta wait till they do the trial.
Shit.
It's insane, dude. So yeah, like first time I guess it's cool, but I'm never want to do this shit again.
Okay. Were you there the day of the midterm elections?
No. I had a call that day.
Okay. I wasn't sure if like people were more active at the courts or
That day I found out that I have to go the following.
Oh, okay. Can you do me a quick favor? Like just from where you're sitting, can you see the red lights on? I can't tell from here.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Red dot,
Sorry.
red in the middle.
So outside of the court stuff, have you played any games, watched any stuff?
So I took my Switch. It was it happened very quickly. Like I felt like I didn't have enough time to play, but I was playing Mega Man and getting really frustrated because I can't kill the first boss. I die and go all the way back to the beginning.
Right.
And I have to just do the whole thing without dying, trying to keep as much health as I possibly can so I have full health for the boss, and it doesn't work out that way.
Just doesn't work.
And then it's like, continue? And I'm like, yes, right back to the beginning again.
It's like Dead Cells. Just think of it like Mega Man Dead
Shit.
Cells.
God damn it. At least with Dead Cells, like, it saves progress.
That's true, huh?
Unless I kill
What
a
if
boss.
Mega Man, the next one isn't traditional Mega Man? What if it's like a
Dead
Cells roguelike style game?
I'd be down.
That'd be an interesting, slight variation.
So I played that. That's pretty much it. I mean, I switched between Mega Man and Dead Cells.
Okay.
Those are the two games I was playing. And then all of a sudden, like, the lights dim down. She comes out and she's like, okay, you guys are going to this room, and then calls out a shit ton of names. I'm like, cool, not my name. And then my name, all of a sudden, I'm like, fuck. And I just, and then when you're in, like, the selection, you can't be using your phone or anything. Yeah. So then I had to just sit there.
Okay.
Other than that, I guess I'm getting into anime.
You're getting into anime?
Because
I thought you've been into anime.
I watched 12 episodes, and I was on the 11th, or I was on the 13th, which is the last one.
I don't watch a lot of anime.
When his call came through and interrupted my goddamn viewing.
Oh, today?
Today.
Oh, you got something to look forward when you get back. What's the anime?
It's called Megalobox.
Oh, I want to see this because
So-
I love Hajime no Ippo. It's a boxing anime,
So, yes.
and this one sounds like it's a variation. Talk to me about this.
I mean, you don't want to hear my opinion, but
You don't like it?
so
You're 12 episodes into this thing.
it's
you don't
13
like it?
episodes. I mean, I was like, I might as well
committed.
fucking watch it. But they do like
But you can't get through one episode of fucking Stranger Things.
they're an hour long.
I know. I just had to get it in there. Sorry. Go for it.
I really like I've tried watching Stranger Things and
It's
like
fine.
my commitment's just not there for me, you know?
It's fine.
Um,
Explain this one.
Well, Stranger Things? I'm
No, Megalobox. Because you can explain Stranger Things.
Megalobox. I don't like. There's things I don't want to say because I feel like like those turning points will either make it or break it for you.
Okay.
But yeah, it's boxing and the art style fantastic. One
Okay.
of the very few I've seen that like
That's a
just
big deal
has
for me with anime.
great animation. Like,
Okay.
because there's a lot of anime I watch and it's just shitty. I tried getting into JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. Like
You're gonna piss off a lot of
one of the worst animations I've ever seen.
It's
in
a
my life,
unique
dude.
style.
Not even unique. It's
Yeah.
dumb. Like,
Okay.
no, I mean,
I think it's parroting from what I don't know a lot of it, but the fans that I know that do like it are very like
it's
adamant about it.
it's also an older style, and like the current version is a little more updated. Graphic
Oh, you're
style.
talking about like the first.
But yeah, I tried watching
Isn't
the very
it
beginning.
supposed to be akin to like Fist of the North Star?
I haven't even watched it. Fish the
Do you
North
know?
Star.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it is, but I know what
That
Just
art
an-
style.
but the story is horrid as well. The very beginning, like how it
Shoujo.
happens. Oh my god, dude, it's so bad. He's like some like pretty rich boy who has like no potential, essentially, no potential.
I'm waiting for like, I
and
think
like
Keith
the
watches
first
it.
10 episodes is just that, dude. It's the worst thing. I don't know how. So like, you know how when like the first episode is bad, but you're like, I'll stick with it. Second episode gets better and then it gets better.
You mean like My Hero
This is
Academia?
like a whole season that
Oh,
you have to
God.
get through before probably it gets good, but it's still not good.
Let's
for me.
emphasize this is not the weekly DLC's opinion, but it's Vargas's opinion.
Hey, at me, bro. At
Change
the
my
Fil-
mind.
At
What's
the Filio
that? What's
365.
that guy that's sitting on? He's like, this shit's bad.
Change my mind.
Change my mind. So going back to the boxing one, animation's good.
Animation's fantastic. And
Is it a one season, one and done?
Yeah. So like it's literally I thought like calculating it, I was like, boxing's 12 rounds. It's 12 episodes. Perfect. And then
They
it
fucked with you.
was there's one more, damn it.
What if it's like an epilogue?
No, I'm halfway through it, so I know.
What
what's
if it's
going
like
on.
an epilogue though?
It's halfway through. But yeah, it's just it's a one and done.
Okay.
I mean, I can't say for sure. I haven't
Okay.
watched the whole thing, but
As of right now, that's all that's out.
it's all it's out, and like it looks like it's gonna be that's it
Okay.
to me. But yeah, there's gimmicks that I'm not whatever.
So the story elements.
Stories okay, like but there's within the story there's things that they do, but like overall I think it was good enough for me to stick around and watch her, or else
Okay.
I would have been like nah.
Okay.
So
We
good
got our
enough.
next guest.
I think you'll like it. Oh, well, I
Have you
can
seen
recommend it.
Hajime no Ippo? If you like that animation, and you like that, I don't know.
Watch Hajime.
Give it a try.
Mika.
Hajime
Hatsune,
no Ippo.
Hatsune Miku.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Hatsune Miku. Okay.
It's the seasons don't make sense because the first season's like, I forget how long the first season's like 25 episodes. Second season's like 40, and the third season's like 13, and then it stops because some of the voice actors I think passed.
Oh, so it doesn't finish?
I mean, it's very open. Like each season is bookend. Like one season, I don't know which season it was, but one season's like his journey in this division. It's like very much like UFC. It's like I want to make this weight class, and I want to fight in this weight class, and all the journey of that.
One of the very first few animes I watched, it was again because of like that virtual thing.
Oh yeah.
So it was the very first one I watched was Sword Art Online.
Right.
And then I was like, I need more of this shit. And a friend's like, watch Log Horizon. I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like through the first season, and then I talked to him about it, and he's like, yeah, dude, sucks that like it's only on the third season, it hasn't finished. I'm like, well, what the fuck is the point? And the guy's like, yeah, a guy went to jail for fucking tax fraud or whatever.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm like, why do I even want to finish this shit now? So I'm like on episode 2 of season 2, and I haven't even completed it because I'm worried that I'm gonna need more, and I can't get more.
That's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So what it was season 1 was 75 episodes, and then season 2 is 26, and season 3 is 25.
Oh, that's not
It's good. Like it doesn't draw. Like I came into this one being like anime. It's gonna be like 40 episodes for like one fight.
How'd you know?
Hatsune
I'll
Miku.
text it to you. It's
That's not the name though. Just kidding.
Hatsune
it's the,
Miku.
Haji
damn it!
no
I just had it.
Itsu. Haji no Mitsu.
Hatsune Miku.
This right here at the top.
Haji no Ippu. Okay.
Hajime no Ippo.
Yeah, Ippo. Ippu.
Okay.
Hatsune Miku.
Yeah. It's funny. It's got a good sense of humor too.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so you got those.
Yeah.
Jang, what have you been up to?
Streamed a little bit more of Red Dead. I started streaming on my second unknown account.
What is the rationale of that?
Just like unstreamable games.
What does that mean?
Games that are not, I feel, my opinion, like RPGs, like just boring to watch. But I mean, people do fucking
But
get.
aren't you a variety streamer?
Yeah, but if I were to play like Xenogears, I don't think anyone, the channel will die.
Okay. But
So
what would
actually,
I'm-
it's an experiment too.
Okay.
Like I want to do one without face cam, and
Oh, okay.
I want to become a Twitch affiliate on that one. But dude, that one has no schedule. Like I don't even know when the next time I'm going to stream. Maybe Saturday. But that's just like, I want to just experiment
Okay.
with that one. And
The other question I have, if you're thinking of like doing these unstreamable games on your main channel, hurting your channel, what would hurt your main channel more? Not stream it. What would hurt it more? Streaming those unstreamable games or not streaming for
not streaming would definitely hurt it more.
So streaming those unstreamable games would hurt. Well, then aren't you doing the worst thing?
No, because I'm doing like a schedule. Like I'm gonna try to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Okay.
main channel. Tuesday, maybe that. I don't know yet.
Okay.
That one has no schedule, but I just wanted to test
But
it out.
it's not going to interfere with your current
It's
schedule?
not. No.
Okay.
No. So I wanted to test it out on Tuesday. I was like, you know what? I want to try it and see.
Is
I
your
got
personality different?
one follower. No, it's the same.
Okay.
But I got one follower, which
Yeah.
it was weird, dude. Like, fuck, streaming to no one is just like, God,
You forgot how that felt?
that's fucking painful, dude. And then one person followed. I was like, oh shit.
Do you still have the same mod?
There's no mods. No one knows about it, but I host it. So I mean, but really, no one really watches on Twitch, anyways. So it really doesn't matter. Like,
Okay, so it's like you're starting from scratch.
Oh,
Yeah.
you stream exclusively only to Twitch?
this one only on Twitch. I want to do just Twitch, no face cam, RPGs, or very non-streamable games.
So if you
So for
listeners-
now, it's Tuesday.
for you listeners who watch them, you guys, here's a puzzle for you.
Shit, people want to know what second channel, and I'm not. I kind of want to like, we'll see how it goes. But I streamed Diablo 3 because I feel like Diablo 3, I feel like is unstreamable again.
We're gonna
They
check.
can find you.
There's people that pull in viewers, but the number one guy was pulling in around 1,000 viewers, and second, 2, 3.
Hey,
So that guy,
But that number one's better than your main.
So
channel.
right now at 9:30 p.m. we have the first person. There's over 900 viewers watching Diablo 3. 900
total.
total. 200 for the first guy,
damn, see that's bad.
and then the second
better
one
than your
is
main channel.
the second one is 59. The third one is 167, and then it drops to like the
69.
teens,
Yeah,
consistently at the teens.
that's bad. 900 total. No one's watching Diablo 3.
That means there's a market there. That's like
No,
that's like
no.
land. Why not?
The key to like growing on Twitch is you have to play a game that's well loved, but is not like a hot, like not a Fortnite. So like a Resident Evil 4, Last of Us,
Yoshi's Island.
You got to be good. There's certain
Get good.
there's certain games you got to be really good. Like
Don't play non-seasonal.
The thing, so I just think that the thing with Diablo 3 is people are watching it because of that specific person and not because of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Specifically with that one, because normally like the top 5 would have a nice spread of people.
Right.
This is too big of a gap.
Okay.
I agree. But what's crazy is a couple followers that watch me on my main channel, like they've done Let's Plays and they've done streams and they're gonna surpass me, dude. Like number wise. Like there's this guy started a month ago. He was already at 1,000 subs. I'm like, fuck, that took me like 6 years. In a month he got 1,000 subs.
What game is he playing? I'm gonna follow his blueprints.
Oh, he plays Fortnite. And he's good.
Okay.
So he's good.
That's probably what it is.
No face cam, but he's good at Fortnite.
Okay.
But I don't know. They always ask me for advice, and I can tell them what to do, but I don't follow that advice because I don't know. I don't want to get like too big, too crazy. But doing that advice, I would get fucking bored. I would fucking lose my mind. That's what made me stop making YouTube videos. I was doing Dark Souls 2. People wanted me to do Let's Plays of Dark Souls 2. Then I was like, dude, this fucking
Aren't you making
sucks.
YouTube videos right now? Like your LA.
Oh yeah, I am making one. It's hurting me, dude. That editing process is hurting me, dude. I never want to make another interview fucking video ever again, dude. But I mean, it's cool. But
Dude, what? What do you want to do?
shit.
Oh, you mean like for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just draining and fuck, dude. It's
Well, I don't see any book out here. No book? No more reading?
no reading, dude. stream.
Give him
I've been
one
watching a lot of YouTube videos on.
Fuck, you almost had me.
No, I've been watching a lot, dude. A shit ton of YouTube videos on like video production and.
Okay.
I want to make vlogs back. Like I kind of want to put streaming like secondary. I haven't been streaming as much, and I want to bring back the vlogs. I'm planning a music video, and this will get me viral. Like it's a prank video. I've never done a prank video. I'm gonna say it here. Dude.
I think it's gonna be like, I'm gonna watch season 2 of Stranger Things.
No.
I'm gonna watch season 2 of Stranger. Got 'ems.
I'm gonna make.
Okay.
I'm planning a prank video.
Okay.
December.
It's on you.
Yeah.
No.
Stranger Things too. I watched.
Yeah. My God.
Editing's killing me.
Okay.
Kill.
Anything else?
Nope.
Since we did that recording this weekend, I haven't done too much. I started, and I'm almost done with Castlevania, the Netflix show. I remember I tried watching
2 seasons.
Yeah, it's on the second season's like 8 episodes. First season was like 3 maybe. And I only watched like the first 2 episodes. I was like, whatever. I didn't grow up with Castlevania. I played it. I remember when I got my DS, I was like best games on DS, and I looked up, and one of them was the Castlevania on the DS. And I love that. That game was a lot of fun, but I was like, I don't know the lore. I don't know the history, the Symphony of the Nights, Alucard, all that stuff, the mirror level. That I've always heard about. And I was like, you know what, I'll give this. I like Warren Ellis, the writer. He's the writer and the main person behind the show. And Adi Shankar, I think, is the person who put the show together. I was kind of interested because there was a recent headline about that same producer, Adi Shankar, whoever this guy is. He was kind of like the main person to make the show come together. He's like, I want this to happen, let's make it happen. And he's going to be working with Nintendo on a Zelda, Legend of Zelda thing. So I was like, oh, maybe it's not going to be a direct thing, but it's like, what is the level of quality of this? How is it treated as an adaptation? It's pretty interesting. Like, as someone who doesn't know too much of like the lore and stuff, I feel like it's building organically, like the characters. It's showing a variety of sides. The animation is beautiful. Like when they're doing the combat scenes, I'd say it's in between like anime and Western, and I like the way it's fluid. It's like it does these like cool pans. It reminds me of a little bit of Cowboy Bebop the movie, the way the animation is when they're like combating. Story's pretty interesting. I'm almost done with season 2, so I was just like chipping away on my Switch while I was watching it. Played a little bit of Diablo 3 after we recorded. I started Necromancer. Which is the only class I've never tried. So I was like, if I'm going to go back into this, I want it to feel fresh in at least one way besides like playing on a new console. So, Necromancer, like I didn't get too far. I was just like, I don't give a shit about the story, going into adventure mode and just kind of like, I joined a quick play and like it just drops you into someone's game and you don't talk or anything. You're just like, all right, let's go through and just kill shit. And I was like, level up. I'm like, all right, I'm tired. Exit, done. And I was like, you know what? I should put some more time into Octopath. So now I got everyone on their chapter 2s. I have to finish their chapter 2s. I got a few people that have done their chapter 2s. The grind is like, it's at the point where it's like, past the peak of like, this is okay. Like I'm just literally going in a circle till like the one low person has caught up to the other 3 people. And then I'm like, all right, let's go fight. But then when I go to the fight, I don't have enough items to restore my like mana, and so I'm like fighting people, and I'm like, all these guys are heavy mana users, and I've run out of the mana potions, and I'm just sitting there like, dink, dink. I'm like, I can fight you, like you're not hurting me, but like I don't have the fuel to kick your ass. But it's fun. It's nice when I'm watching shit. With the intro, we've been watching a lot more Star Trek, and it's pretty interesting. It's got some top, like there was an episode. It's like a sex planet. Like they just show up. They're like, man, this planet's cool.
What's the name of the episode?
Justice.
All right, I'll go watch it.
Yeah. It's on Netflix. And what it is like they go and they're like, let's go check it out, see if it's habitable or something. And they're like, yeah, they just have sex at the drop of a hat. And they're like, any hat, like any reason. And it's just like these people that look like, it almost looks Aryan, like super race. Like they're all blonde, they're all fit. And you're like, something has got to be off. And then they're just like talking to him, and then a lot of them are like, hey, let's go just have sex. And then let's just after that, let's go have dinner, and then have some sex. And they're like, and you can tell it's kind of campy. But then you find out they're like, why is there no crime here? They inquire more, and they're like, oh, you know, we have crime. It's just very little. He's like, well, what happens to the people that commit crimes? He's like, oh, well, we kill them. He's like, wait, any crime? He's like, yeah, any crime is punishable by death. So that's why there's no crime. And that's like they're like, and they don't like they realize some of their people don't know this. And what happens is like one guy like there's like a garden. It's like don't step on the flower, and he steps on the flower. He's like, we gotta kill you now. Sorry.
Oh my.
And it's like, what kind of system is that? Is that justice? Then they discuss like the stuff of that, and I was like, well, that's an interesting concept. Like, what they don't explore it super in depth, but they kind of go into like, we have to stick to our code, but they have to stick.
I need to know if they have sex before the debates, though. You know.
I mean, it's alluded to. They don't like when they go to hug. You just see them sort of like neck, and then they kind of walk off camera. But they're dressed like scantily clad. It's kind of funny. And then another episode was like the guy Riker. He's the number 2 or number 1. Sorry. I had to correct myself because I was like Stryker when we talked about Star Trek. Riker. So he gets powers. He's like, here, I'm gonna fuck with you guys. He's this guy that fucks with them, and it's recurring. He's come back a few times. He's an interesting character, Q, and he gives like Riker. He's like, you have my powers. You can do essentially anything. He's like sort of like Mr.
Mixaplix.
Yeah, that guy. He's like him. He's mischievous. Kind of has his own agenda. From Superman, and he kind of gives Riker his power, and he's like, let's see what happens. And you realize he saves people. Like, everyone is about to die, and he saves them. He's like, whoa. And then Picard's like, you can't just be going, like, this is absolute power corrupts absolutely. So he's like, yeah, you promise you can't just go using your power. Don't use it. And then they arrive somewhere for, like, a refugee, and they see, like, a child, and they're like, if we had only arrived, like, 5 minutes sooner, we could have saved her. And then he's getting tempted to use his power. He's like, what? It's for good. Like, what is... And it's like wrestling. It kind of like was like an illustration of like why or why not like that power is... And it gets to him. It's like that one good intention thought leads to him feeling arrogant and like... He stops referring to him as captain. He's like Jean-Luc. And he's like, oh, we're on a first name basis now. Okay, I see what you're the same, right? Okay. It was interesting. I like it may not always delve. I'm sure later episodes and stuff are going to delve more into like the deeper subjects of life, society, and all that stuff. But I like these little like, just think about it. Just kind of like it plants the idea in your head, and you're like, oh, I wonder.
And you're summarizing these very quickly. Does it do a very good job of telling these stories? Like
it's like something we're the way we're watching it, and it makes it much easier.
Is it better than Stranger Things season 2?
It's an hour. I'll tell you this: it's an hour. So I don't know if you can make an hour show. It seems like that's your deal breaker.
Yeah, no.
So it's an hour long, but it's very like relaxed. Like they're just on the crew, they're just doing their shit, and it's segments. And we're having dinner, so we're like eating, we're watching, and then we're like just checking our phones, watching. I'll have my Switch out sometimes. It's relaxing. It's like nice to have on. It's not like super eventful or it's like a heavy choreographed scene or something, but they discuss things that I'm like, that's an interesting way of...
Can't wait to get the simulation one.
The holodeck? Yeah. So yeah, outside of that, yeah, Destiny, I was going to stop for a little bit, but now that they told me the season's about to end, I was like, man, I got time on these like 2 gun quests that I've been chipping away at. And they're like, your progress on those won't go away, but certain things related to like you have a rank, like you know how in Call of Duty you have your prestige or whatever, that resets back to 0. And part of those guns, the grind for them is to reach like the top tier of it or to reset your level 5 times. I'm like, fuck, do I power through it now or... So I don't know. We'll see. I still got to get my 3rd character through, so whatever. We'll see. It's too much to do. I'm like Red Dead.
And then you got to do it for PC.
How about
No, this is on. I'm on PC.
Shit.
I'm on PC. I'm not changing.
And then you got to do it for PS4.
How about you level that 3rd character only through the Crucible? You'll get there.
He's doing the calculations.
The thing is, I've been wanting to change my character. Like I'm stuck using one character because the quest isn't transferable. I want to use my Titan. I fucking wreck on Titan, but I started this fucking quest on my Hunter, and I've been just like, once I'm done with this quest, I'll go back to Titan.
So you're talking about the the weapons?
Two Crucible weapons.
Where are you with the hand cannon one?
I'm still fairly early on. It's like get 150 hand cannon kills. Or yeah, I think that's it. Let me check.
So I am on I think it's like the third one, and it's get 25 precision headshots.
That might be it.
With the hand cannon, and it's some bullshit. Bullshit.
Not on PC.
Well, the problem is I don't have a good hand cannon. So
What? You don't have Ace of Spades?
No.
That one's good.
Yeah,
No,
that's a good 2-shot fucking kill.
No, the other one that's really good is oh, this is it. Yeah, I'm still. I think I'm earlier than you on that one. I have to do 150 hand cannon just kills.
Oh, but that's like through strikes?
No, on Crucible matches in competitive. This is the red one.
Oh no, that's not the one.
Are you talking about the orange one?
I think it's the orange one. No, that's
The orange one is the pulse rifle one. I think you're talking about the Ace of Spades quest.
yeah.
Yeah. So you have to do that for the Ace of Spades one.
Okay.
That one's hard, but these aren't as hard. It's just tedious. It's like 150, and then after I do just kills, it's like get precision kills, 75 of them. Like fuck me. The pulse rifle one, I'm on the step where you have to get like it doesn't matter what gun you use, you just have to get double kills, 75 of them, and I'm like,
Holy shit, dude.
so I'm just going for heavy and just trying to like rocket launch or grenade launch people or get my supers and just
Oh,
like
you don't have to do it with
it can be with whatever.
Oh, okay.
That step is like double kills, whatever, but it's just killing me. Anyway.
because the pulse rifle one isn't too bad for me just because like my standard weapon is a pulse rifle.
Yeah, it's good.
So as long as I just play, like I'll eventually get it. But the ones where it's like use the hand cannon, it's like I don't have a good hand cannon.
There's two good hand cannons you could get that are easy. One
the
is
Luna's Howl.
No, that's the one that you. Yeah, no, the Crucible one, the Better Devils.
I haven't gotten that one. I mean, like
You have. I guarantee you have one.
No,
at
no.
least one.
not on PC. I've not gotten it on PC.
Just open a package from the.
yeah,
Crucible.
I mean,
Because it's like his like Crucible.
and then
hand
there's
cannon.
one I can buy too. But the thing is, I don't know. I'm one of those weird guys where it's like it doesn't have good stats already, so I'm just gonna wait until it eventually pops up.
You can add mods, or you can switch the stats.
No, it's not making
Okay.
sense.
You just don't want it. Okay. I got you. All right, let's go into topics.
Let's do it.
What you guys have been? I already did that part.
Have you ever
Simulation
had
topic.
a dream?
Have you ever-
The Matrix.
Topic.
So,
Glitch.
Diablo Immortal. What do you guys? I was kidding. so I've been playing Diablo 3. I want to say it's my first Diablo. I played a little bit of Diablo 2. Just barely scratched it.
This is your first time playing 3, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Many different classes. If you guys can design a class, which class would you make and describe the class?
Yours?
Ninja.
Ooh.
How would it go?
So he has like green, blue hair.
Oh, I was thinking like the messenger. He would be a
He
side-scrolling
builds-
character.
It's Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, okay.
The thing is, like, fuck, dude. Like, there's a shit ton of skills per character. So I'm gonna only do 4 because there's basics.
Oh, I was kind of vague in this. I didn't go into like exact.
Well, I don't like. I'm literally coming up with this right now.
Okay, go for
I
it.
didn't think.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
But I've played Diablo, and they have a skill where it's your primary, and it's the one that you literally click with. Like, it's
Yeah, your
just
main
a
clicker.
basic attack essentially, and it's usually a method of getting energy back too. Like if you hit enemies, like that's how you get your energy back, and eventually you can switch where all these moves go
Right.
to. But I'm gonna stick
Like
with the
remap
basic.
them?
Yeah, remap them. So I'm gonna stick with the basic. So the left click is gonna be
Oh, you're doing PC.
a giant shuriken.
Okay.
So it's just like it like does
Sounds
a
like
certain,
something out of like Naruto.
It's a certain distance.
Okay.
And it goes through everything. So like if it's a group of people, you can hit multiple people at once.
I want to see this guy when he's running do this show.
Just a giant ass fucking drinking out of his body. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 skills. Number 1, usually not too crazy, tends to be crowd control. So I would say,
Ooh. You could do something, I don't know how it would work. It'd be like that one thing where it's like a little bolt with a rope where he's like, but like it like pins a bunch of people.
Ebola or Bola
maybe,
or
I don't
whatever.
That thing.
The Bola.
That could be like a...
It actually, the Demon Hunter has that. So, and the thing is, the Demon Hunter has clap traps, which is like spikes on the ground.
But does it have thunderclap?
That's a Crusader.
But I would do something similar to clap traps, but it's gonna be like, it's gonna look like if you guys ever played Pitfall, it's just like giant spikes that just appear, and when enemies walk through it, they're taking constant damage and they're slowed.
I think Witch Doctor has something like that.
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay. It has like arms. It's like zombie arms.
Oh yeah. There's quite a few like
variations.
Same thing with the clap traps from the Demon Hunter. Yeah, it throws on the ground and like they're slowed.
Okay.
And the more they like when they move on it, they take damage. If they stop, they're gonna do some damage.
Okay.
So we'll do that. We'll do giant spikes. Second tends to be, I think it progressively tends to get stronger. Number 2, I'm gonna make it a buff.
Okay.
So this is on active. It just like increases both damage and defense. Oh, how about this? He goes stealth mode.
I was thinking something. You gotta go stealth.
Go stealth mode, and then first attack does like 500 fucking % extra damage, and it's in that stacks with any ability. So if you do your passive regular attack, 500 extra damage or 500%. If you do like your fucking obliterate everything attack,
like
500%.
crits go higher.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So there's that one. Third one tends to be a little more powerful. We'll make it a. I think demons are usually like associated with or demons. Ninjas are associated with normally with like demons or like shadowy.
Okay.
So let's say that you just turn into a shadowy figure, and you shoot out like bats or something.
Okay.
And this is a constant ability. As long as you keep holding it, you're constantly casting bats out of you, and it's fairly long range. So it's like 3 times the length of your basic attack.
Okay.
And then the third one, or the fourth one, has to be like the most strongest one. I would say. I can't think of something that cool right now. So I would just say it's like you bust out with your katana, and like you empower the katana so it becomes like larger than normal. So you get like a nice wide range of attack, and you just do like a full like circle slash, just murder whatever is in your range.
Okay. I was thinking another cool ability could be maybe switch out with one of these. You just generate either you launch one or you generate one around you, just a big cloud. And it would like make it's like a debuff for maybe like all the enemies in an area. So it would work for you. You drop a few, it causes that.
Increases your invasion.
Yeah.
And then decreases the evasion.
It like makes them more susceptible to crits or causes their inaccuracy. I don't know.
I'll change out the spikes. So
it could alternate because they always have a multiple.
Yeah. That's why.
Builds.
But I'm not gonna build the whole fucking.
Yeah. I had a few actually, but I was thinking I didn't go as detailed as that. I was just like, let's just think big picture. One of the ones I thought of, I was trying to look at like inspiration from other Blizzard games just to see what would cross over. One of the ones I thought of like briefly was something like a forger, like that guy from Overwatch. He's like Toolbjorn or whatever. He's like an engineer essentially. But I would have him be like a mix between a witch doctor and a demon hunter, because the demon hunter sets up all these turrets and stuff. I would have him sort of be like an engineer from TF2, where he just sets up not just turrets. He could have like maybe one turret. He could in the witch doctor side would be he's building like assistant robots or like mechanized
portals.
Something. I would also have things where it's like stations. It's like he sets up a station. This area is buffed or healed or whatever. And he would be good maybe at some close range. Like I think there's a hero in Warcraft where he's like a a dwarf with like a short range like shotgun or something, I would have it be similar to that, where it's like short, like something like that character.
Chubby.
Maybe, I don't know. Just like I think of like dwarves, like when I think of like the Blizzard vibe of what that would fit.
That character explaining is a hunter, by the way,
Hunter
in World of Warcraft.
that does all this?
No. The dwarf that you're saying that has the shotgun.
Oh, he's a hunter.
It's a hunter. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He depicts a hunter. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you have any?
No.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
Is this the prank video?
So I actually had like a roguelike character, but then I was like, you know what? Nah. And then I was thinking maybe a priest where he would do heals and it's like Diablos. So he would do like holy water and all that weird stuff and summon angels. But then the character I came up with is kind of similar to yours, but we're going to tap into the steampunk audience. So he's like sets traps. He uses steampunk weapons. He's like the futuristic, but not futuristic. I didn't go into detail because I don't know much about Diablo. He just sets traps, has weapons, shotguns, explosives.
That'd be cool. Yeah, explode like dynamite.
Yeah.
You could do that sort of stuff.
He can use contraptions to fly. I don't know.
Okay,
Or
that'd be cool.
he can use like get into a mech.
Yeah, that'd be
Diva.
like a high level, like low
You guys are
cooldown.
just throwing all my fucking ideas. Because I was like, I could also have a gunner that I want to do. I also want to do that's like a mech or whatever automatically.
I
And
have two other.
You're
ideas.
like, this guy has a shotgun. This
guy-
guy can go into a mech. I'm like, all right, well, there goes my ideas. They go the covered check gunner.
Okay, so my other idea was, did you have any more?
No.
So I had, I think 2 had this, Druid. I would think that'd be a cool one to bring up, but it could cross with a Shaman.
Did they have a druid?
In the second one,
Yeah,
they didn't
they
have it
did.
in this one. So the classes that are in Diablo 3 are Barbarian, Crusader, Demon Hunter, Monk, Necromancer, Witch Doctor, and Wizard.
Necromancer.
I said Necromancer.
Necro.
Right
Wizards.
before I said...
Druid.
So, so Druid was in the second one, and I was like, oh, that'd be good for buffs and debuffs, but like an aggressive way. It'd be like Bloodlust and things like that would get you to attack. And then I would also have it be like the other side of it, where it's like just solo build would be transforming into a bear or into a werewolf or into something like a creature, and then it's one style of build. So you could do a build around a bear druid ability, or a build around a different one, and it would cater to a different style of play. And the last one I had, this one was just like, it'd be very much a mirror of something that's already in there, but I think I was like, that'd be cool to see like this character and the armor they make for it. I was thinking of Warcraft again, and I thought of 2 characters. It could be a mix of the two, or it could be, I'm thinking like a mirror to the Crusader, but for the death side. So I was thinking like a Death Knight or a Dreadlord. And I remember Warcraft 3, the Dreadlord could do like drop in like like this neon green rock monster as like a buddy.
Inferno.
Yeah, that thing. And the Death Knight was like a Crusader, or was a good guy, and he turned bad.
Yeah, essentially a paladin.
Yeah, but like for death, hence the name. But that was all I wrote. It was like Crusader, but with death. So I don't know.
I'm gonna add one more. So, essentially with Diablo, it's a fight between,
Heaven and hell.
heaven and hell. So there's angels and then essentially demons.
Guilty Gear?
I think what would
But why are there Buddhists in this game?
I think what would be really cool is if
A
like
Jewish fighter.
story wise somehow like
Shalom.
you have a demon that helps you out.
Oh, like a good demon,
Yeah, well,
or
I mean,
a middle.
starts bad and
Oh,
then,
okay,
I
okay.
guess eventually gets good. Realizes like my side is bad.
That could be cool.
So there's a guy who is essentially shaped like a spider. I actually forgot his name.
Wait, the boss?
There's a boss, yeah.
Well, he was like one of the main ones of the base game, right?
Yeah.
He's like super. He was like a. Like,
yeah, and he has like his whole body is like he's a giant ass blob with a
He's like
spider legs.
the guy in charge of Monsters Inc.
Yeah, it's exactly like
Okay,
that,
I know
pretty
what you're talking about.
much. So I would want like my character to have a very similar look.
That'd
So
be
we'll
cool.
just everyone imagine the Monster Inc. guy just placed into Diablo. That's exactly what I want.
Okay.
Same googly eyes and everything. I think that'd be really cool.
Okay.
If somehow we could
If I had to pick one of the bad guys, I'd probably pick the Butcher. He's one of the first bosses because he's he's in Dota, I think.
So is the
that guy too. Yeah, huh? I think
him?
there
It
is a
him,
variation.
Yeah, because I got a skin that makes him look like a basketball player.
Okay.
So
yeah, I think those two would be cool as like bad guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
That was fun.
I had I said all three. The
Game
priest.
over, dude.
You said you just
Yeah.
no, not November.
Yeah, dude, you can't do that.
Too late. Too late.
I blew your lip.
Oops.
Okay. Whose topic's next?
Mine's next.
Yours? Okay, go for it.
And mine is essentially
Sound-
with the news about
Keep it on the Blizzard train here.
with Diablo Immortals, but this also comes into play with loot boxes and stuff.
What
But
is it?
Do gamers get to decide how a game is made or what content a game has? Should gamers decide?
No one go first? Do you have a thought?
I have a thought.
Go for it.
They shouldn't decide. That's
At
my thought.
all?
No.
I don't think it works that way.
I don't know. I think there shouldn't be as much backlash. Like, obviously, it's always good to have your voice and have people hear your voice.
I hope so. For 92 episodes.
But sometimes, you could be a little too loud and disrupt things.
But don't you have a phone?
And although I have a phone, I don't yell into it. I think it's a hard balance, I would say. But I think the way people acted with Diablo Immortal was not cool. But then the thing is, I didn't see it this way with loot boxes. Like, I was behind everyone raging. I'm like, yeah, like, get that shit out of here. But then what's like, I'm just handpicking issues that I don't want, and I'll back one thing and not back another thing. But I essentially, I do feel like I should have, although I should voice my opinion, ultimately I think it should be like the designers, the game developers, and how they want to do it. I mean, eventually they'll see that it was a bad decision by us either not buying, them losing a lot of money or whatever, as opposed to us, them making a lot of money. Like something like Red Dead. Red Dead, I'm not a fan of the, realistic to life features it has, but like no one really complained about it because it's not.
No one?
Well, I mean, I think before the game came out, no one was really saying much about those issues. I mean, there's articles, but like it's not when you compare it to the way people were very vocal about Diablo Immortals. It wasn't to that extent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it's just a very hard thing to balance when it comes to that.
I think gamers should say their opinion, but it's got to be constructively. I feel like they didn't say it in a bad way, though. Those two guys that came up to the mic to ask the questions.
Oh, the question people?
Yeah. I don't think it was disrespectful, but I do feel like
I think it wasn't like the most disrespectful. I think it was intended sarcastically.
Mm-hmm.
And if they really wanted to get their thoughts out, they could have done a more like, "Hi, thank you for showcasing some of your stuff, but I know this does like we supported you on PC, and you're putting a game that's solely like." One of the guys was like, "Is this ever coming to PC?" That sounded like he was like, "Maybe there's hope there."
Mm-hmm.
The other guy was just like, dead like,
mm-hmm.
and I'm like, he could have. I feel like he could have, and he was going more for the like blunt punch.
Well, I guess I'm looking at it more of a like negative, like go kill yourself, get cancer,
Something
fuck
like
you.
super dark. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't see it as that
Okay.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, so I think gamers are entitled to their opinion, but there's a way to say your opinion on things. things.
Well, it's like anything. It's like if I want to give you feedback about your streaming, I'm not gonna tell you like, do you want to get good?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, okay. Maybe if you do this or this, like I would articulate myself in a way that'd be like, okay, he's open to feedback. Vice versa. If I wanted feedback from you, I don't know. I feel like it's just general like common sense, but like some people, I think it's a mix. Like you guys were saying, like marketing is a machine of expectations, hype, disappointment, and I was listening to something today that just like I was like, I don't think any other art form or medium has a showcase like this. There's literally like a showcase of E3 is literally just trailers. Like people like are waiting all year for that where it's just like here's just like 10 trailers from this company.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a thing like that for movies. I mean, the closest thing is like you just see the trailers before a movie, but you're there for something else. It's like a commercial. And there's no other case where you're just sitting there watching like 8 or 10 trailers back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, it's just the way games are. It's like like, and what I was listening to, and I was like, that's an interesting point. And I feel like there's merit to it, which is that those moments people like get excited about them because that's something everyone can talk about. You might be at one place with Red Dead, you might be at another place, I might be at another place, so we can't all like share our thoughts about these long big games, but we can all talk about the trailer for Red Dead. We've all seen the trailer for it. So like trailers get put on these like pedestals and focus lenses, and that's where people are. You know, I'm rambling, but I don't know. I feel like they make you think one thing. They're like, we know we keep telling you we know what you want. We know what you want, and then you end things on a mobile game, and I'm like, something there tells me you don't know what I want. So like I need to articulate myself, and some people are like, you're in an event, you're like excited, you're on the front of a mic, you know, stuff. People aren't the best. Not everyone's the best like speaker, and then they just voice however, like I don't know, gets weird. I think like if imagine, for instance, I'll give an example that it could have gone another way and fans reacted, and I feel like it was like a company knowing their audiences and the audience is reacting in a positive way. Was Bethesda at E3? They had mobile games, they had open world multiplayer games, and then they knew the thing everyone was like kind of wanting to hear about, and they addressed them in an order in which I think it was satisfying. If that mobile game for Blizzard, for instance, was because they did a big showcase of like Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, all this stuff. If the Diablo thing wasn't the last thing on the show,
They made it their biggest announcement. Essentially,
it's like you're setting people up for something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's you, I don't know. That seems like what were you? You were inciting them to get excited and then dropping their expectations.
I think there's an audience for that game. The thing is, it's like that BlizzCon is PC gamers, so that shouldn't be
the ticket price alone should tell you like these are people that are committed to it because they're not cheap.
But I mean, there is an audience for that mobile game.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't have been the headliner. It's like you know when we go to the Game Awards and like a hip hop act is like performing. It's like this is not the audience
Right.
for it. Like that's what it felt like. So,
But again, like what you were saying, there's an audience for it, and the way you should. I feel like the end all be all way of communicating to the developers is with your wallet. If at the end of the day you're not buying their game, that's gonna translate to them one way or another because they're in the money making business. They're a company. This is a job to them. Just like a streamer, it's like if you don't want to support a streamer, stop watching the streamer. I think that gets across more than hey, fuck you, you suck. Like. Great, but I have 20 more viewers because you just went viral. Like for every bad controversial clip of some streamer, that just gets more people to like, who is this guy or who is this girl or whoever.
the God complex guy.
But then, like, I agree. I feel like there should be an avenue of like how you give criticism. It shouldn't just be like, fuck the like people were getting insulting, like how you were saying. To specific developers. They're like, this person I see his Twitter or her Twitter, I'm going to target that person. It's like, that's not constructive. But like, I'll take, like, for instance, some of the Destiny developers, they're like, hey, we want to, like, one guy's like, all right, I'm gonna, like, he had a long thread of tweets, and he's like, this is our raid philosophy, this is what we go for, this is, and I'm like, that's like informative on your end to be transparent about something. And then it's opening up maybe not a Q&A, but like a feedback of like, this is people's thoughts on your philosophy maybe. The community, like forums, I think are good ways of like having moderators, making sure everything's clean, getting feedback, but like constructively. Again, not just shit posting and doing stupid shit. Not like this mobile game. It's people in other countries are gonna buy. Like people always play these gacha games. That's why they're so big. And so it's like, okay, well, the money's there. Someone's supporting this. So I don't know. I had one thought that I had before all this, and I'll stop there, and you guys can. It was there. I had 3 types of games as like which ones should have the most back and forth between game, the company, and the fans. I think games as a service, there needs to be a constant back and forth. Destinies, the WoWs, anything where you want them to keep coming back for more. Overwatch, it's like, okay, how do we keep this going? What do you like? What do you not like? Let's change that. Let's make that because we want you to stay. I think games like God of War or Inside or Journey, I think that is me showing you a piece of art, or whoever the developer is showing a piece of art. It's like, take it for whatever it is. If you don't like it, then we're going to come back with our next piece of art as long as we can afford to do it, and hopefully we can. And the third one is single player games, but with like player agency. So like the Fallouts, the I don't know, what are other? It's like
Skyrim.
Yeah, like a Skyrim or any game where it's like a character creation or decision making, like the Mass Effects. It's like you want the player to feel like this is their story. I feel like that's a in between of those two ends of like, we want some player input. We know you guys like mods. Let's make it so you can put mods. Or we know you don't like this. Let's take this less. Or like people might not have liked in Fallout 4 the home building shit. So they're like, okay, maybe we focus less on that and focus more on side quests. Or like the latest Assassin's Creed has multiple dialogue tree. I don't think they've ever had that in past ones. So it's like that sort of game. It's like, okay, we're giving a little bit, but we have a general like idea of what we're going for. So yeah, I don't know. Did you guys have any other?
The thing is, although I do think gamers should have their opinion, I always think when a game is made, it's not a simple decision. It's not someone's like, let's make a game where you could be either good or evil. You know, it's not that simple. There's so much more to it. There's a whole group of people that are designing this game, trying to make everything mesh well. And you know, and when you see one aspect of it, like this game's gonna have sexual content. You know, like if you're evil, you can go ahead and rape women. You know, something like that. Or vice versa. If you're playing a woman, if you're evil, you can go ahead and rape whoever you want, essentially.
What game is this?
This is just this is an example, an extreme one to try to get my point across. And obviously that's something that more than likely in this day and age, it's going to get a lot of backlash. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to get angry over that. They're like, this isn't right. This shouldn't even be in the game. Like, you know, and people are going to get backlash. But I feel like in a storytelling sense, like someone came up with this concept. They're trying to add this into it. And, you know, by having this backlash, they're going to have to remove it. And a lot of it's going to change. It's going to become, obviously, it's going to be a completely different product, but it could be a lesser quality product because things had to be cut and like no time to change certain story modes or certain stories. So then like, you follow like a quest line where like the end is supposed to be like these issues that we're talking about, but it cuts off immediately and it's just like, thank you, here's your reward, and you're like, what? That didn't make any sense.
Well, I think I follow, but let's go the other way. Let's say they had that in the intent originally, but they got people involved sooner, like testers or whoever, and they were like, I don't know how you guys thought that was okay. That's not, whatever it is not okay or should be, like, there could be a glaring issue, and they're like, this is going to get you guys flack or put a spotlight on something that you may not want. Yeah. And if you get in sooner, maybe, then you have more time to adjust things rather than like, oh, we're too far along to change it now. It's like
A real life example was the Call of Duty mission. Remember?
the airport.
Yeah, where it gave you the option to skip it. They warned you like, hey, the following sequence is disturbing. You act as a terrorist and you start shooting people up, or you don't have to. I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you could just
That's-
walk through it.
yeah.
I remember it was a huge issue after the game had come out, but was that option always there?
I remember when
I
I was
know, it
playing
gives
it,
you-
I could just walk through.
It gave you a prompt. It warned you like you can skip this section. Or
You would
not.
see it happen. Like even if you
There's-
didn't contribute,
Yeah,
you could
but
see it
There's
happen.
a moment, I feel like I remember the cutscene continuing after I had to physically shoot my gun at something. I don't know why.
I don't remember.
that.
But I mean, that's also a thing. It's like you're selling a product. Do people want to see that product being sold? People need to voice somehow.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we made the company made a judgment call. The company is made up of several people. There are quality checks and if they didn't want it, if they pick something that the fans don't want, then it's like, okay, we need to reassess what was missing here, because their goal is not to create a product that angers people. Their goal is to create a product people want to buy,
But the thing
or
is,
want to satisfy people.
I
in some
feel
way.
like at least with like the Modern Warfare example, it's timing. Like they're obviously like if it comes out right after 9/11, you're like we can't fucking do this, you know. But it's not an idea that just came out of nowhere. Like this was designed from the get-go, and these storyboards are made.
Let's take another example. There's the recent Smash Brothers thing where they're like, we need to go back and take out something out of Mr. Game & Watch because there's something insensitive regarding Native Americans.
Mm-hmm.
How did that get through? It's like very clearly like he's got stuff that is like that is mocking or poking in some way, shape, or form, illustrating in a negative light Native American stuff. It's like,
But was that an issue before? Because that
it wasn't in past ones. It's only been in this one. I thought of the same thing.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like they've been in previous
he's
Game &
not
Watch.
he's not in like the current Wii U version.
No,
with
they
the
were trying
headband.
to pay homage to a different version of Game & Watch, and in that version of Game & Watch, there was a game mode where it was Native American based, and they were just taking that thing, but no one said, "Is this okay or not?" And it's like they.
I haven't looked into that, but did you like?
They're
was
fixing it.
Was it pretty bad or?
I mean, it's just like showing. It's like saying the Washington Redskins. It's like there's a team right now that's still
So it's just because Game & Watch. If people don't know, it's literally like a stick figure.
right. But when he does a move, it's like fire, and he gets like the stereotypical
It's
like
like the
He gets
Bugs
the,
Bunny
the,
with
yeah,
the
the headband with the
Yeah.
feather. I'm assuming.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. The thing is, I personally I don't take offense to that, and I understand like
That goes into a
it's
different
also-
subject
yeah,
though,
it's
of
not
like okay, it's not for you, but it's
not
for-
like
yeah, it
I'm
could
not
be.
of that background, so I can't really obviously emphasize on that. But I just again I feel like that still falls in the category of timing. Like if this game was released earlier, or at least Game & Watch like that in the previous Wii U version, there wouldn't have been an issue. It's just timing now is like I feel like everything's a little more sensitive. And
then
it's just-
I think that's then on the responsibility. It's a hard again. It's not to make it like it's an easy thing, but it's on the responsibility of these developers of like, okay, we have to make judgment calls, and it is hard because so like their development process is 5 to 8 years. I agree. What was okay 5 years ago, there might have been something that happened recently that's like, oh shit, this is not okay anymore. How do we deal with this?
So real quick, there are issues where I feel like, at least from an outside perspective, it feels like the Game & Watch very simple to change. You just obviously
Yeah, it's not like a Red
same
Dead
move.
thing.
You just take off the hat or whatever. But there could be more to it that we don't know, and I just don't feel like there's a right for us to expect certain things to happen within a timely manner, or they're like, we apologize, we have to release the game as is, and then a patch will eventually be
I
brought
think
in.
all that all comes down to communication. If it's a game that's like, hey, like if Red Dead, let's just take the crunch for instance. They're like, hey, we've been working 100-hour weeks. The game is going to be delayed another 4 months. The reason being, if we want to release the game in a week or two, when we originally said, everyone at our studio will not get to see their families. this and this and this and this happens. It's not healthy. We are a proud team, but we believe our workers have families, and we want our staff to be happy to be able to make you many other games. If they come out with something, a communication that's effective like that, I think people, like, there'll be the internet ragers that are on Twitter that are like, fuck whatever, like that are anonymous. But I think by and large, people would be fine with it. Zelda is always like, they don't go by, like, that's a game that I'm always like, they come out when they want to come out.
Right.
And people never bitch about that. Like, I mean, they bitch about it, but it's like, you see the product. It's worth the wait.
That's the expectation they've like have for
but
us.
it's like, it's slow. It needs to slowly but surely become like, that's
Yeah.
how things are. People shouldn't. Yeah, it's a whole big thing.
And the thing is, like, I guess what I want to get across to is, like, there's more to it than like what we see, because in the case of like that PR thing, or at least the response, I feel like it's not. I don't think like someone specifically who would normally say this like publicly, they can't just be like, I'm gonna write this letter publicly. Like, it has to go through
Chains, yeah.
Yeah, chains.
But I don't think like people, they prioritize that all the time. Like Destiny for the longest time would have an issue in the game, and they'd be like, why? Everyone would be like, why isn't this issue being resolved? There's no communication.
Yeah.
Finally, like weeks later, they're like, hey, we hear you. And then they go through a list of stuff. They're like, we understand this. They give a transparent thing. It's like, that's all people were like. If you had given even half of that, and for them to be like, it's got someone up top, whoever they are, the committee or whatever, needs to realize that part, even just that we're working on it. We acknowledge it. We don't know when it'll be fixed.
Even if they're not working on it, just
it's like, hey, we know it's an issue.
Just lie to me and tell me you're working on it.
Like, just that can appease so much frustration. But it's like, no, it's a buildup and just gas, and then you got to let that valve. Yeah,
Like, we're doing a civil argument, but like, I think ultimately it's an argument, and I stand on, I don't think we should be messing with how things are done. I think once the product is finished, comes out, from that point we are allowed to complain and voice our opinions, and then from there things can happen. But I think in the beginning, I feel like as a package, things should just be released the way they were intended, and then we can see how it comes out. And this,
I didn't just okay. I think I misunderstood. I thought you were just saying at any point, like when I have a game, I'm.
oh, well, I guess I'm just.
Yeah,
like,
okay. You're a good point.
way.
Like if you got a trailer, there's only so much we know about a trailer or like an announcement.
But the thing is, like, I guess what I'm getting at is like, let's talk about Battlefield. Battlefield is coming out as a battle royale, and then they're like, here's loot boxes, and people are already like, no loot boxes. Oh. It's like I'm saying, like, it's fine to release the whole game with the loot boxes, and once it's fully out and I see how everything works, I can be like, loot boxes was a bad idea.
But do they like?
See, that's where I just stand. You know, that's from.
Well, then what about beta tests? Because games aren't out yet, and that's when they give people a way to communicate feedback.
That's a hard thing to make a decision on. Like Fallout 76, they're in beta test.
Yeah,
horrible.
Really?
Because of they allowed Xbox users who pre-ordered it to play it a week in advance.
Okay.
And people assumed I have a whole entire week whenever I want. They were like, no, from 1 to 3 you can play. 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. you can play.
Nintendo does that.
2 hours. And they're like, all right, next time you can play is on Wednesday. So now two like you've played on Monday, now you got to wait till Wednesday, another 2 hours within a business time or like work time.
Yeah,
and so people were pissed. And then when it was available, there was a thing where it prompted you to do something, and if no matter what you press, it deleted everything.
I heard about that one.
So there's just like there's issues,
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and like obviously those things aren't going to stay. Like you're not going to be deleting your whole game file when the original game comes out.
But wouldn't you agree that we don't know what happens backstage, but if they didn't do this beta, that could have been in the release, and that could have sucked. It's like, I'm ready to play Fallout 76, and all of a sudden you hit start, it's like delete. It's like, what the fuck? Like, worst launch ever.
Don't necessarily agree with that, because they're going to have testers, internal testers. There's just not...
Yeah, but there's a difference between internal testers and public.
Right. But I mean, an internal tester is still going to start from point A, which will eventually get to them hitting X and deleting everything.
But that still is a difference between a public, like your Xbox or PS4. There's still a difference of it being like sent out, mass produced.
Right.
So it's not the same.
But I don't think the issue that we're talking about would have continued.
We don't know though. That's why I was prefacing and saying like, who knows?
I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I guess it is possible, but like I guess for me, I'm
Think
thinking
of like Diablo 3's lodge.
it's like a simulation. It's a greater chance of it not happening for me than it is happening. So I guess because it outweighs it, I consider it not a possibility.
But it doesn't outweigh it.
It outweighs it for me.
Okay.
In my mind, it's outweighing it.
Did you have any follow-ups, Trey?
No.
You never argue.
People are
Jay.
entitled. They're entitled.
Hell yeah, you're entitled.
It's as much. I don't know. I think what it gets crazy. Like I'm thinking of other examples of not just games when it's like ownership. Like think of Star Wars. Fans feel like they own it over Lucas or over, and like that's out of control. Or like J.R.R. Martin. He hasn't written these books, and now it's like we demand these books. And it's like, well, it's his creation. It's
Right.
it's like if you had a show that you started doing on YouTube, and you stopped, and people are like, "Where's the rest?" It's like I just stopped.
Where's Dark Souls 2?
It's your right to be able to choose when to stop or not stop as an
Right.
artist, but like that line of like entitlement there, I think is. I mean, that's a bigger scale, much
Yeah.
bigger than any game, I think.
Right.
Like, I don't think any game has gotten as close to, like, a Star Wars or, I don't know,
But
something like that. But
I guess using those examples, though, I feel that if it was okay with games as opposed to, like, a book, you know, if we were to force J.J.R. Martin to hurry up with that book, I feel like the quality of his story would be completely different than it was if we just let him have his time.
But this goes back to my different styles of games in the comparison of the two mediums. He's telling a story where he has an intent. He's not like, hey, I wrote this chapter, read it, where should the story go next? Because it's his story. He's writing it. If it's a single-player game like a God of War or an Inside, there's an intent of like what they want us to experience. With a Diablo or a World of Warcraft or a Destiny, they want to create a world in which, from what I understand of their marketing at least, like their own words, they want to create a world in which I keep coming back to, in which I stay in which I buy stuff or spend time in or whatever they want me to do, playtime, to show that their game is worthwhile and to their investors or whoever so that they can continue to have a job.
Yeah.
And I think in those cases, it's pertinent for them to listen to fans because without their fans, their game will die. So it's sort of like it's like a symbiotic relationship. Like they need to live, or they need to give us a game because we want the game or whatever. We're consumers, and we need to give them like reasons for them to keep making the game fun for us to play. Fortnite is another example of that.
Just to make sure, I guess we're clear, and I think I don't know if you're on the same thing, but I agree with you with that. Like we're like once something, but again, I personally think that we have to wait until the product is out before we're making these opinions. So like when it comes to the games as a service, as soon as the base game of Destiny comes out, then I can start telling them like, hey, this wasn't right, this wasn't right.
I think it's okay. Where I would say I differ from you is if they are making me a sales pitch of why I should pre-order this, that's when they're opening the gates of me saying like, well, this is why I shouldn't pre-order it.
Yeah.
So if they're making theirs, I'm gonna make mine.
I get.
If I get a leak of something, I'm gonna be like, well, that's a leak. Like it might not like it's like seeing a behind the scenes of a movie set. That's not how it looks on the movie
It's
or
all
the
green
trailer.
screen.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's like,
Or like
I'm
when
gonna wait until I see a trailer, and even then, you have to understand this is a sales pitch. It's like a phone thing. It's like any of these. It's a marketing thing. So that's a lens put on it. But I think leaks or unintended advertisement is where I would draw. I'm not gonna like rage at them or be like, no, this is fucking bullshit. Like, what if they do a pitch like, okay, you said loot crates, for instance. You heard that through like a reporter saying, oh, inside sources say that this game is going to incorporate loot crates. It's like, oh, fuck, this shit again. I'm going to... It's like, hold on. What's the pitch? you get loot crates through in-game experiences. Like, I know Shadow of Mordor was one of those, the sequel, I think. It got a ton of flack for all this microtransactions that they said was like heavily emphasized in the game. But so many people that actually play the game is like, on a headline that sounds horrible. It's like, oh, this fucking game has loot boxes. But from people that have played the game, who I've read several reviews from and I trust and I watch gameplay of, it is like the most negligible thing in that game you could think of it. You're like, I do not need to worry about paying real money for this. You can get all that stuff naturally. And so that's a difference of like reading a headline of like a preview versus actually, like what you're saying, seeing it for your own hands and like giving the actual experience. That's, I think, would be an example of.
And I'm not saying we should silence everyone that speaks before a game comes out, but I think we should have the common courtesy to allow a game to release, and then we can have our opinions on it. Because I feel like we have to judge things on a totality level, like a total level, as opposed to just seeing one thing and being like, that's exactly what I want. And I can bring up the example of Shadow of Mordor, where people heard loot box and were immediately like, no. But then people were saying it's kind of fine.
I have a question then. This is in with what you're saying. You're saying it's not okay after game until a game's released, but at like when they want to invite you to a presentation, they want you to. I feel like they're expecting an applause or a boot. Like they want you to react. Mm-hmm. So is it not okay then to react?
Are you talking about Anthem?
No, I'm talking about like BlizzCon or E3 or
specifically Diablo Immortal.
Well, no, that's one, but I'm also thinking of like the VGAs where I was not impressed by Zelda.
Hisabaku!
No, but like that, I feel like they want you there to. They're hoping they can excite you.
Yeah.
But if it's not, are you supposed to just? What do you do? Do you
pull a Corrosion?
Yeah, do you pull a Corrosion? Like I don't what that one. It's like that's the area where people are supposed to react.
You got me. I don't have an answer for that. No, I'm just kidding. No, obviously, I think we should, and like that. I mean, I guess it's not technically public because you had to pay to go in, but like in that setting,
to the audience,
conference audience, yeah, obviously when you're there, you can show excitement or show sadness, depending on what.
I think there's still like an etiquette to follow.
Yeah.
Like, don't fucking toss a tomato or like say fuck you or something. It's like, okay, if they wanted me to cheer, I feel like, I guess booing is okay, but I don't know. Like it becomes a gray area.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It is. I think it's like how you were saying, like when should a game go on sale, and like how soon is too soon. How ready is the game? How many, like, a game could be on sale, like, be put on sale, but then change completely. And you're like, what is this game? This is not what I pre-ordered or whatever. And this is a similar thing where it's like...
Like, I find it weird when people think, when a game comes out a few months before November, and then they're just like, I'll just buy it on Black Friday. It's like, I don't think it's going to go on sale. It's brand new.
Spider-Man.
I mean, Soul Calibur just came out, and it's on Black Friday. It's going to be like $30.
That's insane.
Woo!
But then vice versa, Spider-Man I don't think would go on sale.
Spider-Man's in a bundle.
But
that's the only bundle, and it's like you have to get a PlayStation with it, but it's $200.
And if anything, it might be like a third-party thing too, where it's like buy it full price and you get a $15 gift card.
Yeah, there's stuff like that. You're right. There was something. Well, the other thing is like the game someone plays when it launches versus the game a year from then is a different game in and of itself. It's like definitive version. We've fixed all the bugs. We've added all this content. We've patched this, and it's like, is this even the same game anymore? Like, at what point does it change?
And it always tends to be cheaper too.
Except Diablo.
Except for StarCraft 1 and Brood War. It's still $30.
Diablo 3.
No, well, that's because you bought it on a console.
I think the two things that never like go on sale, and when they do, it's like
Nintendo.
$5 is Pokemon and Blizzard games.
Pokemon goes up.
Yeah, if anything, like if you wanted to get Diamond and Pro right now, it'd still be at least $30. And that's just for the cart, not for like the box. It's crazy.
Do you think they'll go lower when?
No, they don't go.
No,
they don't go. They
never
go down.
They only go up.
I think they'll go down.
No.
Black Friday.
I think the only ones that go down are the spin-offs, like Mystery Dungeon. But even those, sometimes they'll go up. It's like, whoa, Pokemon trading card game on Game Boy Color. That one's fucking goes up.
It's on sale. It used to be $39.99, $49.99 now.
It's fucking crazy. That was a good topic. That was good.
I can keep talking about it.
I'm giving you my reaction. I'm entitled to the topic now.
I don't want it. We haven't finished the topic yet.
We haven't?
Just kidding.
Oh, okay. My topic then. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we forgot to mention elections were this past week. That's another thing.
Uh-oh. I don't want to elect anyone.
We're about to get political, motherfuckers. No. I was just thinking because not so much about the political stuff, but I saw more than any other time ever in my life the amount of signs posted on the street, the amount of shit in my mailbox, and I was just like, what's like not emails or anything, but what's the like. I'm not looking at this, and it's not like setting my mind. Like to me, and this is everyone's different, and there's no judgment. It might be for someone else, but it made me think of like, when was the last time you had like, if you were ever driving down? I'm using an example. You had a stance on some issue, or you were like, I'm going to support X or Y or whatever, and you saw something on like a billboard or a sign or a pamphlet, and it changed your mind. I don't think I've ever met a person or myself experienced some issue where that happened, where any of these things had an effect on my like decision of that. And so I started wondering, like, I went on a tangent, or not a tangent, but I like went deep into this whole. I'm like, how often do people change their minds? Like when they're having a conversation with other people. Like we're sitting here talking about this, the entitlement issue, and it's like, okay, I stood very firmly on one thing. Now I'm a little bit more lenient. I'm like, okay, I can see what he's saying, or some of the stuff. And I'm like, are we like as open as we want to be on things, or is it dependent on the subject matter? Is it like, if on serious things we stand very firmly, on lighter things, who knows? You could like. I want to know what you guys think of it personally and like generally speaking.
We're the guy on the chair. Changed my mind. On a personal level, I like to think I'm open-minded, but I've caught myself like, maybe it's the demeanor of the person. It's just the person who they are. Like I know them, and it's like I don't like this person. I don't want to pay attention to what they're saying, and like you subconsciously block them out. And that like it can be in regards to like they are telling you a lot of information,
Like Greenpeace.
and you're cutting a lot of it out, and so like you kind of summarize it, and it's like completely different from what they actually.
The weekly
said.
DLC does not endorse the opinions of Kurosh about.
What do you think, Jay?
So when I read
Have you ever had a drink?
when I read your topic, I totally thought of a different thing. I thought you meant, have you ever had an experience where you watched something and it changed your mind? So I came up with an example.
Like my example that I have the most concrete example isn't about something political. It's about Breaking Bad.
Mine's about The Wire. So.
Okay.
So I used to have a hardcore opinion on no snitching. Like you would no snitch rule. You never snitch. There's an episode of The Wire that happens to Omar, and he testifies and he snitches. And I was just looking at the episode and I was like, fuck. If what happened to him happened to me, I would fucking snitch, dude. I would do anything to destroy my enemy. And so like him testifying, I was like, yeah, that changed my whole opinion about the no snitching rule. I will snitch because of that. Like if you got hurt so bad, like just fucking destroyed everyone. Well, his lover got killed. Yeah. Like fuck yeah, dude. You would do anything to destroy him.
You'd be that old man in Breaking Bad.
So I think serious issues are hard to like change. More like non-serious issues are more malleable.
Well, I think Vargas brought up a point. It's like it's also depending on who's trying to change your mind. Do you think the serious issues you would only allow someone close to you to have the platform to be like, listen, this is you stand on this, but I think you should see it from another perspective. Would you be open in those times, or
I'm pretty open to anyone. Like I remember one person tried to convert me to veganism, but I was like, nah, dude, I'm sorry. The taste of meat
Well-
overrules the treatment of animals.
Here's
The
another
weekly
example.
DLC does not.
Here's another example. I'm gonna try to like be as vague as I can, but we have a friend, Andrew, who we do not see eye to eye politically wise.
Okay.
And obviously, him being a friend, I would be open minded to what he has to say.
Okay.
But then when a certain topic comes up, like a topic of, like essentially our president or whatever, I would more than likely block him out because I wouldn't have any care to what he has to say about it. Like that's something that. So it's like I to him I'm open minded, but when a specific topic comes out, I would.
Okay.
I would be like, just don't talk to me about that, please.
Well, it's just like an interest thing, right? It's not okay. I don't. For me, it was going to be about Breaking Bad. I watched it twice through, and this is sort of where I went. I was like, okay, it could be as light as something as a TV show. It could be as serious as something as like how our lives are. But with Breaking Bad, there's the character's wife, Skylar. And when I first watched the show, I was like, fuck, she's a bitch. Like, fuck her, annoying, waste of space, hate her.
Even the son's like, Mom, why are you such a bitch?
Yeah, and it was like, what? And I was just like, she was just the butt of a joke. I was like, you're stupid. You're just ragging on the coolest character of all time, all this stuff. And then I was like, Kate, like there was a point where Kate and I was like, let's watch it. I would rewatch this show with you. And we're sitting and we're watching through it. And we're going at a pretty moderate pace. And we're watching it. And I'm like, ah. And she'd be like, what? What's this? And I was like, Skylar's just so stupid. She's like, what? And then we'd go through the show and we'd talk about episodes. And she's like, why? What do you have against, like, she's like, you have some animosity towards her. Like, what is it? And I'm like, she's just like ragging on him all the time. And she's like, and she was genuine. She's like, well, how would you feel if like your partner was living another life and it's secret and like you were raising a child who has a disability like that? And she just pointed all these things out like right like plain as day for me. And like I was like, man, that's, okay, yeah. You make some good points. And then like I was like, okay, I'm not fully convinced, but I'm like, because I just the way she rubs me is the wrong way, the character. I'm like, okay, well, I'll try and the next scene I see her and I'll try to think of it from that perspective. And fuck, it felt like a new scene to me because I was like, now I'm seeing like this guy who's been oppressed for so long with his ego and his pride has been broken, and now he's living this life that he feels is substandard. And then this wife who married someone she thought she knew, and then like now he's a whole other person after she finds out that he's gonna die, and she has to figure out how to do what to go on with her son and all these other things. And it's like, wow, like to me it felt like I was watching half the show, and now like someone took it and it's like, okay, now you're watching a more complex show.
Do you think that's because of shitty storytelling that you didn't notice the
No, I mean,
her side?
I think it was my like immediate like just shutting her out
No.
because I'm always like, okay, he's the main character. That's the only person I should care about. Anyone that is a detriment to him is just dumb.
You
Or
were closed-minded, you would say?
I would, yeah. That's what I was. Yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm saying like, wow. And I thought of the same thing with some other shows where I was like, I'm looking at it only from one perspective. So I started trying to apply. I'm like, how would things be like if I was in this other character's shoe, or if and then to a grander scale, I would be like, okay, whenever I can and whenever I'm cognizant, like you're saying, you catch yourself. I catch myself all the time. I try to be like, okay, I'm very strongly on one side. Why would someone be on the other side of this issue, or not even on an other side, just on a different point perspective?
Here's another example. Jenny from
The Block?
Forrest Gump. Jenny from The Block. Jenny from Forrest Gump.
I'm just Jenny
I don't
from The
know
Block.
if you guys saw it this way, but watching the movie, would you guys feel like Jenny was a bitch towards Forrest Gump?
I feel like she had. I don't remember a lot of it right now off the top of my head, but I think she had some qualities that she like leaned on him and like maybe used him in some ways. But
Yeah.
I think other times I'm like, there was equal amount of times where I was like, come on, Forrest, like pick up on these, because he's attentive, he knows some stuff. And I'm like, you're wanting to believe something, and it's like anything. It's like sometimes guys let themselves get taken advantage of. Sometimes grow, like both sides.
So what I'm referring to is, I guess there's someone who I read like a whole synopsis on it where they're saying like people see Jenny as a bad person when she's technically a good person. She's trying to keep Forrest away from her essentially because she is a drug addict, because she's not doing right in life. She's not essentially the perfect partner, especially for someone with a handicap of his type. So she's doing her best to try to help him find someone else or go in a different direction than towards her life.
Okay.
And then eventually, like, it just gets to a point where she's eventually out of that lifestyle and she accepts Forrest Gump. But yeah, like, essentially she's living her own life with her own issues, and she's not trying to bring Forrest Gump into it. But then, like, the way the movie's portrayed, it, like, we see it as she's being very rude, she's being very manipulative, you know, she's just taking advantage of him when like the opportunity arises. But then, like, if you see it in a different light from like her point, but the thing is, like, the movie doesn't essentially really narrate her.
Yeah, you're following him.
Yeah, exactly.
The camera's.
Well, she's president now, so it's okay. House of Cards.
Yeah. I always forget the same actress.
Completely different look, right?
Huh?
Completely different.
Well,
look.
I forget that she was in Princess Bride too.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
she
damn.
was.
That's the same chick.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
shit. That's a completely different look, though. I mean, like,
I know, but like you look at their faces, like like why didn't I see that before? But I don't know.
I wouldn't marry Jenny. I would marry the princess.
Fuck, Mary Kill.
But yeah, I feel like we're shit. But like, I can't think of too many times where I've changed some. Like, have you ever changed someone else's mind that you are aware about anything?
I would say yes.
I've made them think, but not change.
Yeah.
Okay,
Similar. I made them think, and like they left
that's fine.
with that thought of like, oh, maybe it is.
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
whatever, like,
That's the, yeah. I'm not. You don't have to like completely change. Like, yeah, just even the possibility of a different. I feel like that.
but I never changed your mind
But
on simulation.
No, I was about to say you did, because I was like, "What? Like, this topic is so silly." And then after, and it wasn't necessarily, it was you, but it was after my friend Sam clarified what you meant.
Right.
That I was like, now I see what he means, and now I'm like, whoa,
Breaking Bad.
I just.
a whole new world.
The funniest thing to me is like I felt like I was explaining it, and then when he was just like the probability, I'm like,
Well, it's okay.
doesn't
To be
even-
fair, it's the same thing as the
me.
whole like, is life worth living without gay? I was like, is this like a suicidal topic? And then you explained it a different way. I was like, I understand now. I completely
just imagine No Fab November. No, I'm just kidding.
No. But yeah, like, I think it depends on the topic. I think it depends on the person or the medium in which you're communicating or being communicated. Like, if I'm getting a pamphlet, fucking toss this thing. Like, it means shit to me. If I'm in a lecture hall, or if like someone's on a mic saying like you're a devil worshiper, you know, like you always see at a convention or whatever.
You block him.
That's not very like.
Block.
I wonder.
Chop them in the arm.
I wonder how many more people would actually engage those sorts of people in a calm conversation if they weren't like the way they were.
I've seen it. I've seen
Because it feels very baity. It's just like,
I've seen people like initiate a civil conversation with them, but like,
but they're not willing to have a civil.
no. Well, I mean, in that situation, they initiated a civil conversation and it stayed civil, but like the guy was still like he's very adamant in being like, if you don't do these things, you will go to hell.
You're a slut,
Yeah,
or you're
exactly.
a trash.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those are strong words. And it's like when you use such strong verbiage, I think that is very a quick way to get people to be like this, to get people to dismiss you.
Yeah.
Or just to close off. And I'm like, are you even achieving what you want to achieve? Like, if you genuinely want to achieve something, taking that time to have a conversation, I don't know.
So
It's lost on a lot of.
with you saying that, I have a coworker who has a very like potty mouth essentially.
Furry.
But to the point
They're
that
not a person then.
The weekly DLC does not.
So many disclaimers at the bottom.
change my mind. No,
All the keywords I'm going to put on this is just disclaimer.
he's very vocal when it comes to things. Like we'll talk about a subject and he's like, fuck that, F that, you know, like fuck that. And I've talked to him like, dude, like it doesn't help your cause when you're just like cussing shit out. Like, you know, kind of be a little more civil, explain your situation. Don't just immediately shut something out. Like it doesn't make you look like a good person. Like if anything, I don't want to talk to you because of this issue. Like you're constantly just like F that. And it's like, that's not a conversation.
You're just venting.
Yeah. And he's gotten a lot better now. Like he's
without doing.
He doesn't like necessarily like
Okay.
you know he tries to like be a little more civil and explain things. We were talking about a specific person at work,
The furry.
and he was like F that person, F this person, and I'm like, you don't even know them. You've only seen them one time. He's like, yeah, and F that person, and then he was explaining to me like the person he was talking about. I'm like, that's not even the same person you're talking about. You're referring to this person, and you thought you were talking about this. I was like, see, this is the issue. Like, and like we had new people around. I'm like, you're making these people think that this guy is a really bad person.
Yeah.
And now when he comes in, everyone's just gonna assume this.
Yeah.
Like,
It sets a tone.
yeah, and I'm like, you gotta just watch what you say, and like you're gonna give people assumptions about something that obviously may be true, but to them it could be completely different when they meet this person. And now everyone's just gonna be in guard mode because of that. Yeah. So I'm just like, be a little more attentive to it.
You mentioning just the way that person bursts makes me think of like when people feel strongly. Like I like talking about the pros and cons or the merits of films or shows, for instance. And it's like some people will immediately be like, "Nah, that movie or that show sucks," or whatever.
Season 2.
Fight Club.
Or whatever it is. And it's like, I ask them, like, oh, did you like that movie or did you not? And I'm like, they give me a very strong response. And I'm like, well, I don't feel like you want to, like, explain or hear why or why not. Like, have a conversation about it. It's like you just have you have an opinion and that's it. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this was fun. Guess we're not going to talk about stuff. Like, I'm not here. I'm just saying, like, I've had it with other people.
I just imagine you looking down and kicking like a leaf. Like, I guess we'll talk about it.
And I honestly, I've been guilty of that sometimes too. And I can think of one example: Sucker Punch, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I came out like I think I've shared this story. Me and 3 of my friends went to an IMAX showing. It was fucking expensive. Bought popcorn, made a big whole still. We saw it, and 2 of my friends loved it. Myself and another one of my friends hated it. And I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, I know I feel very negatively about this. And I knew after my friend told me how much he loved it, I was like, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm just going to be like, okay, fine. Like, I don't want to ruin, because I've been in that position where you get something ruined for you because someone else's vibe is not as high as yours. And I was just like, I don't want to engage. And he was adamant about, like, why didn't you, why was amazing? Why didn't you fucking love it? And I'm like, I just didn't. Like, if you want me to articulate it, it's going to bother you. Like, I don't think, like, you're willing to see things from my perspective.
You'll see what I see.
And he's like, no, and, like, tell me. And I started listing things that bothered me, and it was just dismiss. And I was like, then why did you have me tell you? Like, what's the point of this? This exercise, like, to make me feel like my response is wrong when it's just subjective. So I like that was a time. Well, I guess that wasn't really me, that was really them, but that was a time where I was like, I know their mind's not going to be changed. I was trying to avoid a situation of like, let's just not get into this.
Yeah.
It's just you enjoy it, I didn't. We'll find another movie. There's other times. And there's been times where I've enjoyed a movie and I'm just like, I've had someone bring it down because I've been like, why didn't you like? Why did you not? I get really excited.
Things season 2.
I just want you to fucking finish it. That's all.
I feel like
I'm teasing.
when it comes to like
I'm gonna be playing
people's
it while we do the podcast, and like we'll eventually finish it.
If on our Switches we have YouTube now, just have it playing.
I feel like when it comes to art, like I stop getting upset if people like something or hate something. It's subjective, whatever. Like they have tastes. It's gonna be different.
You don't feel like they're entitled to the.
See, I feel
They're
like
entitled.
it's being closed
They're
down.
entitled to their
Yeah.
opinions.
But I mean, like, okay, if they have a thought, what if they're constructive about it? Would you then be open to talking to them?
I mean, I could talk about it, but it's probably not going to change my mind about it.
What about
Stranger Things season 2.
the shredded image from Banksy?
What about it?
What'd you think about it?
I don't know too much of detail. I know it was bought and it got self-destructed.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Do you think that was art?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
You could argue anything is art.
This is art.
The white
Yeah,
elephant. in the room.
this should be in the Louvre. Playing in Paris. Is it in Paris? I don't know.
Episode 69.
just replace the Mona Lisa. And just put a
there-
copy of us here.
There is a stance that I have that I flip flop 50%, and it's a
Hip-hop.
topic that we've talked about.
Hip hop is dead.
Was Ozymandias right? Like that's a stance that, damn, dude. I always think about it. Depending on a day, I'll flip flop. Like
Well,
my
I was
stance.
thinking about this, not the justice thing, the next gen where he has the power of a god, and it's like, do you just neglect that power if you have it? And it makes me think of like with greater power comes great responsibility. Like, is not using an ability that could help people irresponsible, or is it like a duty that you should?
From the quick summary you gave me of that episode, my first thought was, if you use your power for every single opportunity you can, it's not a good thing. And I think that's what the episode, I feel like that's what the episode's trying to get at. Like, you cannot use it to just change literally everything. Like,
What does Superman do then?
he doesn't change everything. He even
if he
mentions
sees
it.
his train, he stops it.
Right,
from running
right.
over
Everything he can
Just
physically
bullets.
see, I guess, but
And he-
or hear or get to in time. But
Yeah.
he's talked about it. I've seen it in comics where he talks about like he's like, I can't stop.
Right. No,
everything.
agreed. He can't. He does what he can though.
Yeah,
So I don't see the difference between what you're saying and that.
but then he goes corrupt. Just look at Injustice.
Red Sun. No,
that's
I'm
because
kidding, I'm kidding.
That's
I know,
because
it's completely
Sonic
different.
Fox beat him.
He was just pissed.
Yeah.
No,
He got teabagged. That's what
well, again, this is just storytelling. There's different ways to tell it. Like, you can tell where, power isn't going to corrupt
Right, yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
or
yeah.
you can tell where power is going to corrupt
But
absolutely.
okay, that is storytelling. But we're talking like if you like in actuality, if that existed, what should like ethically?
Damn,
That's
a tough.
hard. That's hard to tell because
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like as tough as what I was relating to what he was saying, and that his was tough. I feel like this made me feel it's as tough as that. Like it was a
If
small.
you fix one, you got to fix all of them. Like how? It's just never.
I don't see
Is
it
it-
that way.
Yeah, again, it's hard. It's not easy. I don't think it's easy to answer. So that I agree. I don't think like I'll have one opinion and be like that's the opinion I have.
But yeah, like just to, I guess
On that one.
reiterate real quick. So because you mentioned a story where like this girl gets hurt and he's like, if only we were here 5 minutes earlier, and he has the power to fix this, like save the girl essentially, and then people are like, don't do that. Or Picard, I'm assuming.
Well, he said before that he made him a promise. He's like, I will not use this power going.
so then
forward.
that he just has the feeling like.
So
let
he's
me-
like, and they're
let me
like,
just do it.
you can save her. They're like, I made a promise. I can't use my
Okay.
power. And then he feels bad.
So in that regard, with a similar situation where, like, let's say it's like a stadium where a bunch of people die, does it become right or wrong for him to use the power to save that moment? I guess that's where it kind of gets different. The way I would simplify it is just, if you're there at the right time to save, do it. But don't use significant power where it's like, I'm going to rewind time because I didn't get there in time. Sorry.
I feel like you could argue that. I would argue, personally, that if like an accident happened and someone got hit, then isn't going to a hospital to try and help them like something?
I would say that's in line with doing within like that, I guess, single timeline that you're running with, but don't
He's just
rewind
using
time.
he's not. He's just using powers. That's within his
Oh,
capability.
okay, sorry. So he's just gonna like heal her essentially from that moment.
He does something. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
Maybe he did some sci-fi magic.
I
but
guess for some reason I thought he rewind 5 minutes and then got there in time to save her. I thought that's what I was assuming.
it might be. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know if that's how he would have done it or if he just fixes her. But the point is, like, he has an ability, a capability. It's like us having a capability to use a syringe to open someone up. It's like, okay, we have that capability. Is it? Okay, this is going into a
It
whole
could be
other
another
topic.
topic too. Because like you just look at the news and you're like, so and so killed, blah blah blah.
How could
Earthquake,
this- yeah.
30,000. Like you're gonna be like, what? Like just the guilt. You're gonna see all these headlines over and over, and you have the power to save it, and you did it.
Overpopulation.
Thanos?
is right.
It doesn't matter because it's a simulation.
Yeah,
Superman. knew
sure.
it. He's like, I'm the best part of the simulation,
This is getting
motherfuckers.
all like into moral.
I don't know. He brought up the Ozymandias thing. That's what started this. I don't know. Again, I think it's an interesting thing, an exercise. Just sometimes I'm like, what is another perspective on this? And run that simulation in my head of like, I'll give it one last example. There was this recent prop for making daylight savings permanent or not in California. And I felt very strongly on one side of it. And I was surprised to find other people that felt otherwise. And I was like, why? And
You said the argument.
I don't think we had a friendly jibber jabber of it, but in my head I was like, I wonder what the perspective would be of that. And I started being like, okay, well, this is maybe a possibility. Maybe this is my lifestyle. This is why I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't have that issue. So I'm like, I guess I just hope I'm just gonna go with what I feel. But I can see maybe if assuming it's one of these two, I can understand. If it's not, then I'm confused.
You know why? 2 words: old people.
Architect. Dropping the mic.
The old architect.
The old architect.
Old people want the daylight savings time.
Could be a lot of things. It was more than one thing.
Change my mind.
Yeah. This was an interesting episode with a lot of interesting topics.
The weekly DLC loves old people.
We loves everything.
Disclaimer,
Furries
Weekly DLC
especially.
doesn't promote fucking Jangs.
Furries especially.
Not changing my mind.
Not people.
Not open-minded. Where can they find you guys?
They can find me at the Fulio365 on Instagram and the Fulio everywhere else.
Devil May Poo at Twitch randomly.
I thought you didn't want to give it.
Changed his mind.
Hell yeah.
Change my mind.
You can find me at Kujar Prime. You can find us all at the Weekly DLC. Please feel entitled to share your opinion and thoughts and feedback with us on any of our areas where we're sharing stuff.
But don't change your mind.
But do. Until then, we'll...
DLC.
You later.